Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey. A couple of years ago, 2022, at Christmas time, Rebecca, for a present, I believe it was a Christmas present, if I remember correctly, bought myself an opportunity, and of course she came along, I didn't go alone, to go to a Jim Beam dinner, which is a fantastic thing if you can go. Fred and Freddie Noe are there, Baker Beam usually shows up. They serve type of fufu type food, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and the holiday one is great because they have the whole place decorated. If I'm recalling correctly, this was the one where we had stations. Usually if you go to a dinner there, everything's in the kitchen, at the kitchen table, and their restaurant, it's not actually their kitchen table, but this one was in station. So, we could take the bus out to the special Freddie's Distillery, and I think we did that first and got dessert first.
Yes, because we kind of.
And then they had cocktails. We try to go against the grain because we don't want to follow everybody else since it's really crowded. So we kind of ended up doing dessert first, but there was cocktails and things everywhere, and they had ice carving going on. I mean, it was just fabulous, and it was definitely different than what they've had other years. We've now been to 3 of their Christmas dinners, I believe. Each one's been a little bit different, but they've all been great. Yeah. So one of the great things about their dinners is afterward, they open up their vault, so to speak, and you can go down to the American Outpost, and they typically pull out some bottles that are not otherwise available, and you get some pretty good stuff, and they will usually sign them.
Well, it's a pretty good business model when you can go ahead and basically charge $275 or whatever dollars to go ahead and go to dinner. Then you go to dinner. Hey, guess what? You can go down to the shop. $1,000 later, like I spent $1,275 wherever on food. But it's a really fun experience, and you get to hear Fred and Freddie. And I think Lineage, I believe the night we got this was the first time that we ever saw the ham luge.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So the night that we did the dinner, had the dinner, they released this bottle. And this is a very special bottle that was not supposed to be in the United States, but because of conditions that Rebecca will talk about, we were able to get it that night. Do you want to talk about what makes this bottle special?
Absolutely. So Jim Beam Lineage is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey made by Jim Beam. The mash bill is 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. This little baby was aged 15 years. The proof is 111. And the MSRP is $250, and it is a 700 milliliter bottle. As Wayne was stating, that is because it was produced to be released in 2020 as a, quote, travel retail exclusive. And most bottles that go overseas are 700 milliliter versus our 750. Now, for this limited release, it was created by Master Distiller Fred Noe with his son Freddie Noe. And this continues the tradition together. Fred and Freddie hand-selected this 15-year-old bourbon. It's noted to be aromatic yet balanced flavor. This rare whiskey marks the peak of one generation's achievement and the next generation's coming of age. And it is the first time that they worked together collaboratively on a project. And the box shows all of that information and that history. It's just really spectacular. The way they presented this as an amazing, this is going to really go down in history as our first thing we've done together. They've since done several things, but it's great that this was the first one, and we were able to get it. And I'm just going to be honest, we've gone there several other times when they pulled it out on special occasions, and we've gotten one almost every time. We probably have 6 bottles, something like that. We like it a lot. We enjoy it a lot, and every bottle we have is signed. This one looks like it's signed by Fred only. We have a couple that are signed by Fred and Freddie. Another one's signed by Fred, Freddie, and Baker Beam. But it's a great bottle. We have hit this bottle a bit. We're not worried about it. We've actually taken this bottle to a bottle share before. I don't know if you all participate in bottle shares, but they say you should take something unique and interesting. You don't want to take something bottom shelf to a bottle share because most people are coming with the idea to share something that maybe you've not had before. We took this one to one last year after Barbecue and Barrels, and we had a pretty huge group there, and we actually gifted it to someone that day. They know who they are, and said that they took off without it that day, but we got it to them on another occasion.
Yes.
So because it was a great bottle share, and that person had brought some other great things to share, and they loved it, so we wanted them to have it. So,
You don't want to say who it is?
Go ahead.
Barry Brinegar. And when
Founder and, RD1 extraordinaire. He is there, goes and travels and spreads the word of RD1.
he does, and if you get close enough to Barry, you can smell Aberana finish. Barry, when we brought this bottle in, and he looked at it, he started talking about, this is what I've been talking about. He got in this conversation. We couldn't exactly eavesdrop on it because he was about 10, 15 feet away, something like that. But he really started going off on this bottle. And because of things that went on that night, we weren't able to leave it with him. So I think we met him at the Kentucky Bourbon Fest and
managed to sneak the
got
bottle
it
in.
to him. So, and chances are he probably has it. Now that we have sold ourselves and kind of been just talked about this bottle, let's also go ahead. Let's start to pick it up and take a look at the
'Cause
legs.
I don't think I've had a drink since that bottle share.
No. And
one of the reasons we couldn't get the bottle open today, I'm just going to tell you right now,
yes,
it comes in this really cool box, and I showed you pictures of it, but for some reason, it's got a magnetic little piece that you have to pull out in order to get the bottle out, and typically you would just pull down the bottle and it would come out. It would not come out. We had to go in the kitchen. We were trying everything. We didn't think we were ever going to get this bottle released again. And we have other bottles. We almost shifted to get a brand new bottle to do this, but we finally got this one open. We were like, yes.
And fun fact, when we had Fred and Freddie and Baker Beam sign it, they had a hard time opening the bottle, and they were a little frustrated with it.
Yeah. But the other one I pulled out of the closet, it opened right up. You know,
Yes.
you pulled on it, and the magnet released, and it was great. I may have poured a little heavy. We may have to have some a little later because we hadn't opened it in a while. So I did almost a 2-ounce pour on this one.
Now, I would pour this for Chasing Meat, our friends.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. Love you.
But it's got great legs forming. I'm enjoying that. And now I've got to dive in on the nose because it's been so long I can't remember.
It's been a while.
Oh, I can smell the age on it. I smell a little bit of oak there.
Oak, cardamom,
Caramel.
baking spices.
Mm-hmm. It's like a really nicely aged bourbon. It's not overly oaked. I mean, I was talking about the nose, but you know it's got those, because it's a high corn recipe and is typical of Jim Beam. Now, I'm not getting like peanuts or anything, are you?
I'm not. I wish I was getting sweet and sour because that would make sense since it was going to Japan.
I'm not getting any fruit notes, but I rarely get a fruit note on Jim Beam. But I normally get peanuts, and I'm not getting that on this one. Maybe on the palate we will.
There's a little bit. I pick a little bit in the nose. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and drink this thing because this isn't a sniffing channel. So,
Cheers to Fred and Freddie and Lineage.
Cheers.
Now I get peanuts.
Oh yeah.
It's not like heavy that sometimes you get in some Jim Beam products, but it is subtle enough, but yet strong enough to let you know the peanuts are there.
I directly get peanuts. I almost feel like
That was my
circus.
first taste.
I feel like the circus has come to town in my mouth.
So roasted peanuts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm gonna take another sip. The legs are just beautiful, and you get that viscosity in your mouth. It's just terrific. I want to also say that for a 15-year-old, it has lovely oak notes. It is not overly oaked. It's not astringent in any way, and I'm sure that the proofing of 111 really contributed to that. It is terrific. We wouldn't have kept buying bottles of it just because it was unique. We kept buying bottles of it because we want to make sure we have it for a long time.
This was just really, really good. And the oak profile,
It's lovely.
since over my shoulder is the Granddad 16, which is 100 proof as compared to this, is you said 111.
111.
The Granddad definitely has more oak to it. But this one here, the oak is just, it's giving a good kiss, kind of one of those high school kisses from your first love type. It's really pleasant.
Yeah, and I have to think that when Fred and Freddie were selecting the barrels and really looking at it, they each have a little bit of a different profile they go for. If you've had Bookers, that's kind of what Fred likes, and Little Book is where Freddie leans. So they're not identical profiles, what they're looking for. So this is a beautiful marriage, a beautiful collaboration, I think, that as they were really selecting the barrels they loved, I get nuances of each of them in here, which I think is great. I probably didn't think about that before when we bought it because we were still pretty new in our bourbon journey at that time. But now that we've tasted so much and we have a lot of Jim Beam products, and I can really tell that this is a collaboration. This is pretty exciting for me to taste today. I know that sounds crazy that we've had this bottle for a while, and I'm very excited because I feel like I'm getting new things on it.
One thing, and I hadn't thought about this at the time when we bought the bottle and opened it and poured it, because it's sort of been a thing that I have really become passionate about. That's a screw top.
Yeah, it is.
And I love screw top. That might be the influence of Michael Veach, but a lot of the vintage pours,
we do have screw tops. Yep,
have been screw tops, and some of them. We have one that we did not that long ago that dated to 1964, and it was a perfect crack. And when you have a plastic screw top that holds up almost 50 some odd years, that's another point for me that I hadn't thought about that when we first got this. Yeah. It was just a bottle that we opened.
A bottle that we knew was special. We heard the story, and so we bought it. You know, so we love a good story. We've talked about that before too. We can be a little bit of suckers for a story. But now, a couple years later, what I'm finding is I just really appreciate the spirit that's in this bottle. It is phenomenal. It is really fantastic, and it's got so many nuances. And I do feel like it is the great collaboration of a father and son here, which is really nice.
And it's very historic.
This is great. I mean, I'm loving the spice notes, the hint of peanut. It's got the caramel. It's like a dark caramel, and it's almost got on the back end of my palate. I'm getting a little bit of dark chocolate there, almost a cocoa, which I don't recall getting before. But again, I think my palate has matured since we bought this in December of 2022. We've had a lot to sip on since then and contemplate. And I think it's just fabulous. I love it. And we have a lot of people that say...
What she said.
We have a lot of people that say, oh, you got the bottle signed, and I would never open that. It's like, we have asked every distiller, well, even when we're in line getting it signed, we often say, we will be opening that. I mean, recently we had Steve Nally sign the Cathedral bottle, and we opened them because it's not like a baseball card that you want to get put in, you know, a perfectly sealed thing and never move it again so the signature is perfect. I mean, they want you to drink their spirit. And our thought is, we'll save the bottle. I mean, any bottles that are signed, we're not going to get rid of. So it'll go up on the top shelf there, and maybe we'll make it into a lamp someday. I know there's people that do that, but you know, at some point in time, we're going to make it into something because we're not getting rid of any of our signed bottles. But you've got to drink them because distillers make things for us to drink, not to sit on a shelf and make a museum out of them.
I just think at some point that the house that we're living in right now will basically blast a hole in the wall to my left there, and that'll be an area where all these empty bottles that we have consumed that are signed will be sitting, and that will be a different part of
be our museum room.
That'll be a museum room, and our friends Chasing Meat will come down and film that and interview us. So anyway,
let's taste it for the finish.
Yes.
And I'm loving the nose as it's sitting here and opening up a bit because this bottle hadn't been opened in over a year. It's just really smelling great. It has a really nice long finish too. It's comforting. It doesn't kill you, right? It's 111 proof, but the finish is not like, the finish is softer, I think.
I find the finish warm.
Comforting.
Well, it might be comforting. I enjoy it. It's where it needs to be. It doesn't need more and it doesn't need less. It's where it needs to be. There is a little bit of the barrel. There is maybe a tad bit of cinnamon. I'm not getting leather or tobacco or anything like that I would tend to get on an older bourbon. It's just...
I am getting a hint of cocoa on the back end, which I had on the palate. It's carrying through, and that is kind of a barrel note for me sometimes. If it doesn't quite go to the leather With the tobacco, it often goes to like really dark cocoa. And I'm feeling that. There's cinnamon for sure on the finish, which is, it's a lovely, it's not like a burning cinnamon. It's just a lovely, warming kind of cinnamon, which is terrific. I like it.
Well, I'm gonna slam down the gauntlet on this because over our shoulders, we do have a decent amount of Jim Beam. We like Bookers. We like the Granddad 16.
We like Little Book.
We like Little Book. I will say, of all the versions of Jim Beam we have, this is my favorite.
It kind of, it kind of hits in the middle for me. I mean, it's like, because it hits a lot of cylinders. This, the 15-year, might be the only 15-year expression they have. And it's just it's a beautiful point. And I love where it is. It's just ideal.
Yeah.
It was a great collaboration by Fred and Freddie.
Yes, and I don't say that in any disrespect because the stuff that we have up
We
there,
love it.
We do love. But if
we try to get backup bottles on everything that we get that's like that, so we do like it a lot.
But if you asked me what is the one bottle you would pull down and drink every day, this would be it.
Well, I also say that when we have friends over that, and we've talked about this before, we've always said, you can come in here and pick something. If it's open, we'll pour it for you. But 9 times out of 10, they say, what would you like me to drink? And we have some things we'll pour. We talked about the other day, we'll pour some things from Glens Creek. We try to pick out things that we think they wouldn't pick up normally, that they wouldn't get like at their local liquor store or at our local bar. This is another one we've poured for numerous people that have come in. So we didn't drink all this. I mean, we've definitely poured it for quite a few friends that have come over.
As we conclude this and wrap it up, cheers to Jim Beam. Fred and Freddie, this is an outstanding collaboration. Cheers to all of you out there. Barry, who liked it, cheers to you. Cheers to our friends at Chasing Meat. You come here and this is what we're pouring you. You have a great day and always remember to drink responsibly. Cheers.
Cheers.
And like and follow us.